Hello there! Today is the 12th of August 2023 and my bicycle tour around Iceland continues. I'm currently cycling along the F35 from north to south, that's an Iceland Divide route, and I'm starting today at a campsite called Áfangi, and I'm going to be continuing along the F35. One option is to stay here, but I may carry on here, and although this has got one name here, it's actually called Árbúðir, I'm led to believe. It's going to be quite a long day, so here's clips and commentary from the road. Speak in a bit. Cheers!
Saturday, 12th of August, and I'm just leaving where I stayed for the night, which was a place called Áfangi. It's like I guess you could call it like a bunkhouse. So it's got a series of rooms with like bunk beds, and there's a really great common room and good showers. Used by horse trekkers a lot, and I think the beds sell out pretty quickly in the summer. Camping was great, I could use all the facilities, even got a breakfast from the horse trekking guys this morning. So now I just need to get back onto the F35, this is just a little road leading off. I'm trying to do an 80-kilometre day today, and that will take me to a place I can't really pronounce. I think it's called Árbúðir. I think it's going to be similar to this, more of a coffee shop. You can camp outside. They might have some rooms, like with bunk beds again. Reasonably uphill until the last third of the day, and then it's pretty much all downhill. So I think it's probably doable. 600 meters of total ascent, so there shouldn't be any issues as long as the weather's fine. It was a bit misty when I woke up in a cloud. Clearing up now. Same again as yesterday. If there is a wind, it's going to be a slight tailwind. What else is there to say? Yeah, it was a nice place. A guy, I think he runs it from kind of like April until October. He says he also opens for like a hunting weekend or a week or something as well for locals during the winter.
Take the next right.
Yeah, all good. So here we go. So now I'm on the F35, it's a little less bumpy. I've got 3 days of camping, and then I've booked an apartment for 2 nights. Give me a good chance to get ahead of some clothes washing and stuff. Maybe get the sleeping mat looked at, but by that point I'll only have like another 10 days of camping left. But anyway, I mean, it needs fixing regardless of if I do it in Iceland or if I do it in Greece. So yeah, so this is going to be an 80k day, then I'm going to have a 60 and then a 50, and then the following day after the 50 it's a nothing day. I've then got the apartment in that same town, so I'm probably going to hang around on the campsite for a few hours and then check into the apartment. And also it'll be a good chance to perhaps do some cooking and have some vegetables if I can find any. And plan what I'm going to do for the last week. I'm kind of a bit stuck as I hate going back on myself, so what I can do is I can go down to the south coast, cycle east, but then I've got to cycle west again, and it just always seems a bit pointless cycling back on myself. I have this problem when I go out for training rides as well, and I can always end up back at home, so training rides are not particularly inspiring for me because I'm, you know, as I mentioned, not a cyclist. So yeah, I mean, one option is perhaps to spend a few days in Reykjavik. I can write a travel guide or something for it, or I could just like crawl along the south coast heading west if there's much to see and do in that direction. I think I'll just play it by ear. Also depends on weather, of course. Today I'm not expecting any rain, I don't think. I mean, there are clouds in the sky, but it's probably because of the elevation as much as anything. I'm very chatty. I've actually got quite into the habit of talking into, well, just switching the GoPro on and talking as I cycle. Quite like it. So there's more talking now than there was at the beginning of the tour, so I've kind of got into the swing of things. So if I was going to do another tour or a long distance tour, I would probably choose this way of making videos, because like you can spend a lot of time setting drones up and camera shots. I'm not really that sort of person, but I can definitely talk nonsense that comes into my head whenever I feel like it. Anywho, here we go for the hills. So I just met another cyclist coming in the opposite direction. It sounds like he's been in Iceland for a while as well, and he's it sounds like he's cycled all over, sticking to a lot of these roads in order to avoid the main road, which I would advise like cyclists to do. When I was first planning this cycle tour around Iceland, obviously I considered just cycling around the ring road, but I really don't see any value in it because the traffic is just not pleasant, and then there's better places to go, like Westfjords for example. But everyone each to their own. But if somebody was to ask me what route they should take, I would say definitely include the Westfjords, and then try and plan a route that doesn't involve the ring road if possible. I mean, what's better, cycling on this or cycling with a caravan passing by 3 inches to your left hand side? So yeah, so we had a few tips about the road ahead, and I had planned to stay at Camping Giza, and he I don't think he thought much to the site. My reasoning behind camping there will be to try to get to Giza early in the morning before everyone else wakes up, but we'll see. Also, it was pretty clear he was a cyclist, and so he thought some of the roads would be tougher on my bike because they have thinner tyres, keeping in mind that these are 2s. This guy slowed down, that was nice. So back in the day, 2-inch tyres were considered thicker tyres, but now not so much for some people, depending on the type of touring involved. So would thicker tyres be better on this or not? I mean, at the minute I don't really have a problem with my wheels and traction. That's normally what happens, is you either get to a sandy bit and just basically end up turning the pedals and the wheel just turns in the sand and the bike's not moving, or you just don't get any traction at all if you're on a steep climb. So far this has been fine. Again, comes down to the type of bike you've got and what tyres you can put on your bike. I've got one bike, so this is the one I brought with me. So I think from what he said, the F26 would have been possible, just would have been slow going, and yeah, I don't know if I've missed out or not. I mean, other than to say I've done it, but I think I've done other things so it doesn't really matter so much to my ego. Plus this has got like little places to stay in, cafes on the way, and I like food. Probably said that a few times. He also said that there's a group of Italian cyclists coming this way. From what I understand, they're staying at the hostel at night, because the guys there said that some people were arriving.
Next, keep right. Then in 190 meters, go straight.
Yeah, I don't know what this is on about. Just the same road now for a long time. Ooh. Anywho, and on this route he said that there was a rough section for maybe
Now
10
keep right,
10 kilometers.
80 meters, go straight.
A rough section for 10 kilometers. But again, we'll see what it's like when we get there. So just met a group of Italian cyclists coming in the opposite direction, and they're staying the night where I did last night, so they've only got a short day left really, but I guess it's a couple of hours. For me, I've probably got another 4 hours of cycling. Yeah, I guess must have been like an organised tour or something, because there was too many of them for it not to be. Although it was unsupported by the looks of it. But, I mean, maybe a vehicle went ahead. As you can probably tell from bouncing around, I'm now on a washboard section. I would go into the middle where it's a bit smoother, but I can hear something coming behind me. Yeah, so I let that vehicle go past. If the road stays like this, then I may choose to call it a day a little bit earlier. I've got time before, excuse me, my booked accommodation in Selfoss. So there could be a place in about a little bit less than 20 kilometers time, which I think does camping. So I could stay there, then it would be a shorter day tomorrow and then back on course again. But anyway, I'll see how it goes, because the thing is, it's actually a really nice day. So, but this other place could have a great view of the glacier that's over to my left hand side, which you probably can't see in this video at all. And every time I've tried to take a photo of it, it doesn't really turn out very well, because it just looks like, I don't know, like some white stuff in the background far away. I think sometimes, like, you try and take photos of things, but it's actually the experience of being in it that is can't really be replicated very well with photos. I found that with a lot of the cycling trips I've done. I know on some I've not taken enough photos, and then I started taking video like this, so at least I can put my thoughts onto video, whatever they're worth. But yeah, anywho, this is going to slow me down if it's like this for quite a while. It's very washboardy. I mean, a bike with suspension would be great here, but obviously would probably suck on large parts of the rest of the tour that I've done. So swings and roundabouts with the gear you choose. Yeah, I think gravel washboard road is probably my least favourite terrain. Not sure if this GoPro picks any of it up, but take my word for it, it is. So, quick update, 2 hours in motion, 25 kilometers travelled, 55 to go. So maybe another 3 hours of pedalling. I've got a bit of a climb coming up, but then after the climb, everything's downhill, more or less. Current altitude 590. I think I'm supposed to get to, does that say 650 or 850? Might even be 850 maybe I'm getting to at some point. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, here we go. Come up to a much worse section of road now. There's a lot of loose gravel here. It's uphill. Yeah, so going's going to be slow, so I'm wondering if I should cut the day short. It's already 2. I guess to see how far this goes on for, but the cycling is laboriously slow on this gravel section, and there's no real easy way around it or through it. So I've got a car coming in front of me and a four-wheel drive behind, or camper van behind. No doubt they're going to pass at exactly the same time where I've stopped. C'est la vie! I never like to get off the bike and walk it, but it's a little bit easier. It's not even that steep. Just can't make significant progress through it, and walking is just a hell of a lot easier. So would thicker tyres have helped? Going back to what I said previously, possibly. Not sure what size I can get on this thorn actually. I think 2 might be the widest. So this bike is like a general purpose touring bike, and obviously this road is like at one extreme, so yeah, I mean, just the way it is on bike tours sometimes. Or walking tours, as we're now on. Actually looks like it's starting to get a bit better, so I'll try and get back on the bike again in a second. Yeah, it looks like we've got rid of the bigger stones and we're back to just some hard pack and loose gravel. Okay, back on the bike. Interesting seeing other tracks here. You can see where there might have been cyclists. Oh, somebody hit the sand, I don't want to go there. Yeah, very interesting landscape this one. Whee! Sand trap. So we've got some glaciers front and to the right. In fact, it could all be one big glacier. Should probably work out the name of it. If I find a little signboard, I'll let you know. So the F35 road is, for the most part, much easier than this. This is the hardest section, and I mean, it's not that difficult. It would be pretty annoying if it went on for 100 kilometers, of course. So if you're planning to do this route, and pull over, there's a vehicle coming. If you're planning to do this route, you can, you wouldn't want to do it on like very, very thin tyres, but 2-inch tyres, fine. Might get away with 1.5 inch. So for all of the Iceland trip, this is really the only section in what, now 1,500 kilometers, where I wish I had slightly wider tyres and suspension, but it would have been unnecessary for the rest of the trip. So when you're planning, you kind of have to take all these things into consideration. So 3 hours cycled, and I've covered 35 kilometers. with about 45 remaining, so I'm getting closer to potential campsite number 1. So the question is, do I want to cycle for another 4 hours over similar conditions, some of which, once I've got a big climb out the way, will be downhill? Or do I just want to say, you know what, I had a good day, it's 4 o'clock or whatever time it is I get there, I'll just call it a day now. I think cutting it early sounds about right, actually. Probably sounds more sensible, sets me up for tomorrow. Let's see what the rest of the road's like to get over this rise. So I reached a little decision point, and I can go right to where this place is. I don't know if you can read the signpost. It says Varavella, which is 2 kilometers. But then I would go on like a random route, which is where I think this 800-meter ascent comes from. Or I can turn left on the F35, and looking ahead there, it actually says Gullfoss 89. Obviously I'm not going to make Gullfoss in one day, but I wonder if going this way is a little bit quicker than what Komoot had suggested. It's going to be a little bit unknown. It should link up with my preferred destination for the evening, so I think I'm just going to go for it, continue on this F35 and see what happens. Yeah, just looked at Google Maps and it should be 45 kilometers with only 151 meters more of ascent, and then I go down 303. So I think I'm just going to carry on. So I don't know, be there in 3.5 hours, maybe a bit less if it's a lot of downhill. Here we go. The road quality is still not great, but well, that view don't get much better, does it, at that glacier? Yeah, I said 3.5 hours, but if the road carries on like this, it's probably going to be more like 5. I think it's getting better, and then there's like another boulder sand trap thing that appears. But I think it is getting better. But I've not gone above 8 kilometers an hour yet, and I'm going downhill. You don't see quality videos like this on other people's YouTube channels, do you? This is what bike touring is really about. Not about the pretty Instagram picture and the shiny bits of kit. It's being about covered in dust and bumping up and down on the road. Ah, what a life. Would I swap it? Of course not. Why would I do that? That would be stupid. It does make you appreciate the little things though. That little thing at the minute being sealed roads and the people who make them. Oh, you've got to appreciate those people. Road seems to have got marginally better after a bit of an uphill section, he says. Every time I say something like that, it always, something happens. What should I say? Ah, I found $100, maybe I'm going to find $1 million more. Nah, that won't work. Anyway, it has got marginally better. I got up to 13 kilometers an hour at some point, about 11 at the minute. Going to need to pull over and have a couple of chocolate bars, as my eating for the day is a bit messed up. I thought that other place was a bit closer to the main road, but yeah, always difficult to tell if I made a mistake by not staying there or stopping there for something to eat. But I've got like loads of food with me, and as long as I can at least get water at this next place, then I'm sorted, even if for whatever reason they don't allow camping there. And the water I've got is going to last me for the 40 kilometres I've got left, no worries. Maybe it's a little bit less than that now, who knows. I don't really want to keep looking at the commute or whatever, in case it deflates me. Anyway, it was a bit of a, what I like to call a filling jarrer, as in it was jarring all my fillings bumping up and down. And this is relatively better. I've got a bit of a crosswind at the minute, but predominantly it's a tailwind, which has helped out enormously. I wouldn't like to be cycling this against the wind and in rain. I can imagine it would be quite a horrible day. So it's just a matter of grinding out the kilometres until I get to where I need to be. Still going, and a cyclist coming the opposite way, and he wasn't having a great time. But then you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you? Yeah, this is going to be a long day. Part of the reason why I booked a place in Selfoss for a couple of days, that I can just unwind a little bit. It'll probably take 2 days to wash some of this dust off my body and off my clothes as well. Yeah, this has been pretty, it's got to be top 10 worst roads I've cycled. Yeah, it's got to be. Poor. But, as I always say to myself, it can't go on forever, can it? I'm probably an hour and a half to 2 hours away from this cafe, which should be open 24/7 apparently. Camping there is allowed according to this cyclist who camped there last night, so I've got no worries on that front. So it's just a matter of getting through it all now. But I mean, the landscape's stunning. It's just a shame I'm bouncing up and down so much you can't really enjoy it as much as I'd like to. Maybe I'm going to look back on this bouncing video and enjoy it with a nice cup of tea. Okay, I'm pretty sure this doesn't really count as a water crossing, but I'm going to count it anyway as my Iceland cycling experience. I've just seen a car go through it, didn't look too deep. I can go over here to the left. Yeah, it's not really a water crossing, is it? But kind of. Didn't even get my left foot wet. Awesome. Better move before, no doubt, some other four-wheel driver just come barreling through and cover me in water. Oh, wrong gear. The one good thing about the Rohloff is you can change gears anywhere, but obviously you still got to remember to do it. Right. Okay, so water crossing experience, not exactly the genuine Icelandic one, but yeah, I'll say that counts. I'm guessing this guy isn't randomly stopped. Chances are it's got a puncture. I wonder if the vehicle's been abandoned actually. No one. So I wonder if he actually parked it there, or there's something wrong with the vehicle. Looks to be okay, but was parked at a very odd angle. Roads improved gradually you get a bit of speed up though, like there's another gravel patch or a washboard section that slows you right back down again. If I can get over 10 kilometers an hour, I'm content. I think tomorrow I've probably got like half the day like this, and then gradually getting better. I suppose I must hit a sealed road. I'm not sure if I hit the sealed road tomorrow or the day after. Oh, that was a bit steeper than I anticipated. Still did it in fourth though. No, fifth. Legs like iron. Hours of cycling, and I've still got 20 kilometers to go. Just turning into the wind a bit, just for a small section. Can really feel the difference. Obviously, that's at the end of a long day, a long cycling day anyway. And had a nasty bit of road to screw me up as well, as you do. Yeah, so when they say the F35 is the easy route, I don't think that's entirely true. I think it's easy in terms of resupply points, but don't underestimate the road. There's a digger up ahead of me there. I can only assume it's here because they thought there weren't enough holes in the road, so he's coming here to dig up some more. Little cyclist joke there. Oh, okay, so time's coming up to 7 o'clock in the evening. 6 hours 34 of cycling. I think I've got like 4 kilometers left to go. And yeah, I'm hoping it's just over this hill really, which according to Google Maps shouldn't be there. Yeah, it's been a long day. Hindsight, maybe I should have stopped at that other place, but then I would have had 2 days like this rather than 1 day, so who knows what was best in the end. Hope you can hear me because of the wind. Let's hope it pushes me over that hill. Speaking of it, I can finally see some buildings up ahead. I'm assuming that's where I'm going to. Kamut will probably say something in a minute about the tour is 1 kilometre ahead. So I have to say, well, it's by far the worst road I've cycled in Iceland. Definitely in my top 10 bad roads, and that was one hell of a day. If you're thinking to do this, I would definitely say to stop at that other place rather than push on through, unless you're feeling like masochistic like I obviously was, or you're a strong rider or you've got way less stuff than I have.